Hello to everyone. Welcome to Sanofi's booth. Very happy to have a lot of people around us to talk about very interesting subjects. And obviously you have also the time, hopefully, to visit the rest of the booth. There are plenty of innovations. Are you ready for this? Oh, that's a little yes. Are you ready for this? Okay, that's good. So let's welcome our next guest. We will talk about augmented clinical trials with AI. Please welcome Nicolas Bonnet and Nicolas Boucher. So we are two Nicolas, and I had actually a difficult time to make sure who is who at the beginning, but now I know who's who. So let's start first with you, Nicolas Boucher. First question about the ambition of Sanofi. There's a sort of an evolution lately about digital also. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so for 2030, we have a bold ambition because we believe that digital is a key lever to accelerate and halve the time from discovery to therapy. And it's also a key technology that can help us improve the probability of success of our drug development. So yes, we have bold ambition.
That's great. And if we get into the context, what's involved in creating a drug, Nicolas?
Yeah, I want to go briefly through it. So you see on the slide there are many steps. It's a really long and complex process. It lasts for 9 to 12 years, indeed, so that's a very long. If we just pick a couple of steps here, it starts with the drug discovery, where researchers are identifying the compounds. They are using to do so various techniques, like high throughput screenings, for example. They are also doing modeling computing, just to identify the compounds. The next steps, we switch to some kind of preclinical testing in laboratory or in animals to assess the safety and the activity of the drug. And after that, we are switching to the clinical trials, so in humans, to hopefully get the approval at the end to health authorities, which are in US, the FDA, for example, in Europe, the EMA. And today, we will focus on the clinical trials, so the trials in humans.
Why Sanofi is investing so much on clinical trials using AI?
We are at an inflection point where AI is not changing pharma industry, it's really transforming it. And AI has the power in those phases, and most specifically in clinical trials, to reduce and compress by 2 years this process. So that's why we think it can bring drug to the market faster, and it can be a hope for the patient waiting for our solutions.
And tell us about a few examples that makes it a little bit more concrete.
So as you see here, drug development is a long journey, and it's burdened by overwhelming complexity. There are tons of data, thousands of manual steps, and a lot of opportunities for delay. And AI is the spark that can change every step of this process, from intelligent study design, for example, to seamless data capture and regulatory submission. And we have also great ways to improve safety and efficacy analysis. So AI is definitely a great lever for the patients to be embedded in this journey and have solutions at the end of the day faster.
Okay, and let's talk about the different steps. Let's get into the details. What are these?
Yeah, so they are put in the screen. You see the various phases that we have in clinical trials. So each phase is designed to bring evidence to see if we continue the development, or we stop the development, or we reorient our efforts into another direction. A brief description about this. We start for phase 1. Mainly healthy volunteers, except in oncology, where we start with small cohorts, so in healthy volunteers, just to assess some basic safety, but also to assess, let's say, how the drug moves through the body, how the drug is metabolized from the body. So that's the phase 1. Then we switch to phase 2, where here we assess the efficacy of the drug in patients with the target condition. And also this is where we determine the right dosing for the patients. So that's the phase 2. And then the phase 3 are really large-scale trials where we have the proof, the definitive proof of our efficacy, where we look also at the safety. Then we got hopefully the submission. And we switch to phase 4 post-marketing trials, where we look at the long-term safety and long-term efficacy for our patients.
And is it always, such as we see on the slide, is it always sequential and independent for each drugs?
Yeah, not at all. Indeed, the slides are a bit misleading. These were where we used to do clinical trials in the past. We are more in the continuum nowadays. What we are doing, we are trying to speed up some kind of feedback loops, meaning we are learning from the clinical trial more faster than in the past. We are using real-world data also to feedback some insights in our clinical development path and to put the patient in the center. This is what we call back translation indeed. And in addition to that, we augment this by using extensive simulation to build virtual patient models, which embedded the physiology of the patient, which embedded also the disease progression, and also the mechanism of action of the compound. So all this is virtual and is backfeed into our clinical development.
I see, and there's also a very interesting video that we will share now, talking about patient twin. And probably tell us a few words before patient twin. What is a patient twin?
Patient twin, it's about having virtual models that help us being able to predict the safety and efficacy of our compounds even before we synthesize them. So that's what it is about.
Let's watch the video.
In medicine, breakthroughs often feel like they take forever, but the future might be closer than we think. Imagine being able to turn years of data into actionable insights to accelerate life-saving treatments. This is the promise of digital patient twins, a groundbreaking innovation that could completely revolutionize clinical trials. Digital patient twins are virtual representations of patients based on advanced computational models that describe human physiology and disease along with a drug's mechanism of action. Digital patient twins allow us to boost probability of success and enhance trial designs by identifying high-potential drug candidates, optimizing dosing strategies, and reducing patient sample size. This is especially vital for rare diseases, where patient populations are inherently small and geographically dispersed, as well as pediatric studies with specific ethical considerations and the challenge of recruiting young patients. Digital patient twins offer a non-invasive method to generate synthetic control data, explore treatment responses across different age groups and developmental stages, reducing the reliance on real-world participants and speeding up transition between trial phases. For example, the disease modeling team's work on lunsekimig in asthma accelerated the program by 1 year, skipping phase 2A to move directly from phase 1B to phase 2B. We have developed a proof of concept of digital patient twin on 2 key indications: asthma and Pompe disease. This first iteration enables clinicians to predict disease progression and treatment responses at population and individual patient level. Our goal is to build an integrated digital twin platform that expands to all Sanofi key assets and indications to bring treatments to patients faster and pioneer the journey toward personalized medicine. With digital patient twins, we have a great opportunity to create a fully integrated in silico first R&D organization. The future is already here. Let's shape it together.
Very interesting video. And tell me, where does AI actually fit into this long and complex value chain, Nicolas?
So AI is not just a tool in our development process. It's really becoming the intelligent backbone And as you see in this video, we can improve and target which disease we want to manage, let's say. And also we can have that through regulatory submission. And so the video you have just seen is not science fiction. It's happening right now. It's a real innovation within the R&D accelerator where we craft our innovative products. And it helps us to better target unmet need through virtual models that can be applied to predict safety and efficacy of our drugs even before they have been designed. And it's also of an help to reduce the sample size of the patient in the cohorts, but also optimize the dosing of the drugs that we need to have for the trials. And finally, we can compress and even skip some development phases and save up to 1 or 2 years in some cases.
So that's quite a lot, actually. What about the patients?
Yeah, so the patients, it's another aspect, and the reality is a bit stark because only 10% of the patients can participate actually to clinical trials.
How much?
10%.
10%.
Yeah, when they have the disease where they could be managed within a clinical trial, only 10% of them are participating, and that's, let's say, a blocker to accelerate the drug development and science. And so for that, we have every algorithm that try to reduce the patient burden, because participating to a clinical trials mean going on site and have visits. So we help having a better targeting with AI to develop strategies that best fit the different patients, and also build more diverse protocols so that we can talk to every patient segment level and have, I would say, clinical trials that are better understood outside to have a broader diversity of patients that can participate to the clinical trials.
I see. So nothing better than a demo, actually, to know more. Let's watch the video.
Muse is a groundbreaking GenAI product developed as a first use case in the tripartite partnership with Formation Bio and OpenAI. This product is set to transform the way we define patient outreach strategies and disrupt the current manual and lengthy process. The product leverages the power of generative AI to accelerate patient recruitment and ensure diversity and inclusion in our clinical trials. Muse brings user-friendly and impactful features. Once your study project is created, the AI-powered insights help you get a clear overview of your project, including patient demographics, geography, and socioeconomic impact. Muse also provides valuable features such as source citation and opportunities for additional research to enhance your understanding of the disease and patient needs. Our patient research and recruitment strategy module generates multidimensional patient segments and recommends omni-channel recruitment approaches and campaigns tailored for each subpopulation. This ensures that your message reaches the right patients through the most effective channels. The platform identifies underrepresented patient populations and proposes targeted outreach approaches to ensure a holistic and inclusive recruitment strategy. Our patient-facing material generation module creates multimodal recruitment content. Muse generates a variety of content formats, including digital ads, flyers, brochures, and pre-screening questionnaires, adapted to the specific needs and preferences of each patient segment. This ensures that your message resonates with each patient segment and differentiates your study from the competition. The platform also provides tools for language translation and IRB compliance to ensure that your content is accurate, appropriate, and compliant.
Very interesting. Let's talk about the data of the patient. How can you use AI for that?
Yeah, so the patient data are really at the center of our development for course. They are coming from the clinical trial. We have a large amount of data, a large variety of data, and a lot of variability. So that's where we put the AI all along the chain, from end to end, from the sites up to the submission. We are trying to leverage AI at various steps, for example, to get the data, to ingest the data, to map the data, to validate, to check, also to have some kind of mapping of the data, and to have the code development for the data, and ultimately to have the reports done, and we'll see something about the reports later on. So we are putting all this together to speed up the timelines and take the decision faster. Our ambition is to switch from reactive data monitoring, from proactive data monitoring, where we will get the insights quicker and be able to make the decision making really faster along the way.
So tell us, Nicolas, back to you. How do you, once you have collected and analyzed the data, what do you do? What's happening on that stage? You do the report, I suppose.
Yeah, we do a report called Clinical Study Report. That is the culmination of our scientific journey. And actually, we put all the evidences in this document to submit to health authorities and prove the efficacy and the safety of our drugs. And in this process that is really long and, let's say, that requires a lot of expertise and meticulous work, we have GenAI now that can help us expedite by completing some paragraph automatically, formatting some complex data, and also writing some precise narrative that help authority evaluate our drugs. And for us, you can guess that it's a 60% saving in time of the work that is needed to write this document. But surprisingly, it's also about quality improvement. So we have a better narratives, better quality of data. And at the end of the day, we are able to respond to health authority faster and have this document, meaning also have the drug submitted at the end of the day sooner.
And there's another challenge is about CSR also regarding this report. So we'll have a look at a video right now talking about how CSR automation is used for Sanofi so that we can see how it works. Let's watch another video, please.
Each year, our teams spend a collective 4,250 days writing clinical study reports and 19,000 days writing product quality reviews. And that's just the writing. What if we could greatly reduce the writing and review time for our technical reports, so we could shorten our time to submission, ultimately giving patients access to more advanced therapies earlier? Now we can, thanks to GenAI document creation. How does it work? GenAI facilitates data collection, extraction, and analysis from multiple sources. This AI-powered tool relies on a large language model to gather and format data, as well as draft accurate text in half the time it currently takes us. When it comes to CSRs, GenAI automatically generates content from the study protocol and statistical analysis plan. We are customizing the LLMs so that they can fully understand our clinical trials and generate relevant, accurate content which can be easily reviewed and revised by our writers. GenAI also automatically generates PQR content in just a few seconds. The user can review the report, co-edit with other collaborators, and export it for final approval. With GenAI, we're not just streamlining a process, we're unlocking potential. With the ability to process the hundreds of document types required by our clinical and regulatory functions, GenAI promises to completely revolutionize the way we communicate with regulators and the public, generating many types of reports. And quality assurance teams can now focus on what truly matters: critical thinking, data analysis, and continuous improvement. This is just the beginning. This is next-generation document creation. This is GenAI.
Well, obviously, we see you're using a lot of GenAI AI in many of your tools, including clinical trials. There's probably another question popping up that using a lot of GenAI, does it mean that it will replace human beings?
So no, it won't. We see this on the screen, and already Kautar mentioned this this morning. Indeed, it's helped us to augment the decision-making process involving the scientists and the medical people. So it's really in addition, and we still have their input at every important step. So that's really an help and not replacing.
And working together hand in hand, if I can say so. Great. One last question, and then we'll give the floor to you, dear audience, to ask some of your questions. One last question about, obviously, collecting all this data using AI. How actually you are ensuring that you are responsible using this AI that is responsive?
Yeah, so as you have listened to Kautar before on AI and GenAI, we have a framework called RAISE that cover how we should leverage AI within Sanofi to make sure that we assess every AI application under ethical criteria. And we want to make sure that all application and solution work hand in hand together with human also in the loop, and AI capability to make sure that the use case is compliant and that it's the right use of GenAI. And of course, as we are building digital products where we want to ease life for our patients, the sponsors, investigators, and regulators, we need to gain their trust by building applications that are transparent and where we assess on a regular basis and monitor on a regular basis how those algorithms are leveraged. And at Sanofi, it's for us key that we earn first, and then maintain this trust. So that's why we are applying this framework, making sure all our digital products comply to it.
Well, thank you very much. A great applause to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear audience, time for questions. Do you have any questions? Yes? Oh, you're here again. I like that. You always have questions. Welcome back.
Thank you, Nicola, for the presentation. So my question is about the ICH and the regulatory framework. And since AI has been included in clinical trials and clinical trials is really well regulated, is there an initiative for ICH or good clinical practices to include AI, or is in the way, or what is the situation currently?
ICH for some people here?
Yeah, it's International Council of Harmonization, which is like the standard for clinical trials.
Thank you.
I can just start on this one if you want. So that's a good question. There are many texts from regulatories that put the framework about the use of AI on medical devices, for example, on clinical trial and stuff like this. Then it depends where we put AI. For example, if we put AI in the clinical study report, that's pretty simple because it's just a kind of draft that is generated and then it's reviewed by medical writing every time. So maybe we gain the time mentioned by Nicola, the other Nicola. We gain this time at the beginning, but always there is a human in the loop, and that's really important to have human in the loop. It's important also to leverage AI, to leverage insights, but that what we do with these insights are the risk of the company, like any other risk if we are just looking at the data without AI. So that's really depending. Then about replacing some part of the trial by AI, then it's discussion with health authorities based on case-by-case basis. More easy, for example, on rare diseases. And here we understand that the patients are hopefully rare to find. So that's where the health authorities accept some replacement by AI or other techniques, for example.
Do we have another question? Don't hesitate to speak closer, yeah? Thank you.
Hello. I was wondering, how are you addressing the risk of bias in AI models?
Great question, huh?
Yeah, but
I take? Okay. So that depends of which bias are we talking about, and that depends where we are putting the AI. A little bit the same story. For example, what we can do is to have some different data sets, one for the training, one for using these data sets and then to cross-check if where we are observed is really what we find. So we have some kind of back loop like this, where we know what we want to find, and if we don't find it, then we have a bias, then we need to correct the model. That's basically one use of them. I don't know, Nicola, if you want to complete?
Yeah, I think we use a lot of data sets of historical data, which help us to do the same way we used to do. Now, what is a bit harder to remove and to go toward an optimized way of doing things is to create the data sets for new ways of writing, for example, the CSR. So when it's a new therapeutic area or a new way of standardizing different paragraphs, then we cannot use the existing data, and we need to work on that before we generate the sections. And that's one of the key steps that can take a bit of time before we fine-tune the models.
I think, yeah. And this is reinforcement learning, right? So is it? Yeah.
Do we have another question? Well, thank you very much. A great applause to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, dear audience, also. Please don't hesitate to visit our booth. You have a great journey from research and development to patients. You have also a fantastic GT3 car from McLaren. You're probably wondering why McLaren is on the booth. Please check it out. It's actually going to work, also run on Saturday at Le Mans. And of course, we have other innovations and startups to visit. Thank you very much. Enjoy, and see you in 15 minutes for the next session. Thanks.